Hello and welcome to That Peter Crouch podcast with me, Joe Cole. Peter Crouch, Chris Stark and Statman Dave are with me as usual. All right, boys? How was that?
All right, that was fantastic, mate. How you doing, Joe? Thanks for doing this, mate. I appreciate it.
I just want to know, how far down the list am I? You've been going for about 2 years. This is scrape the barrel territory.
No, this is good. But it's really good because the last couple of episodes have been goalkeepers. And I think we've dug deep on that, haven't we? And there's been a certain amount of rivalry, I think it's fair to say, between Crouchy and the goalkeepers we've had on, like striker, goalkeeper battle, I think it's fair to say. So it's going to be a different dynamic, this one, I think.
Well, it's nice because we worked together on BT as well. And like, you know, we've been getting a little bit of grief when we've stood together. The Driscoll brothers, we've been called from Only Fools and Horses.
Whenever they set us up, I should always be closest to the camera. Because if I'm with him, Jake and Rio, I just look like the mascot. Do you know what I mean? I'm like trying to get the touchscreen out and get serious on football, and I just look like I've won a competition.
That's me here.
I think you're right. I think, and no offense about that, but it's especially when you wear similar stuff, when you're both wearing the hat.
Yeah.
It does look quite comedy.
We look like the Driscoll brothers.
Yeah, we do. I'm national average height.
How
I've
high
checked,
are you?
5'9.5". No, I am. Like, everyone goes, little Joe Cole. I'm like, I'm average height.
Is he? Statman Dave?
I'll have to have a look. They'll have to really get that on, but give me 2
The
seconds.
half is very crucial in this.
Statman Dave, he'll get this up straight away.
Right, so you're
national average.
5'9", 175.3 centimetres. Which is saying you're taller than that.
So that half is above the national average.
That's why I throw the half.
Stop it. So you're saying Joe Cole is above average height?
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. It's blowing your mind, isn't it? It's blowing your mind. Do you know,
some of these stats are bollocks. With Joe, you heard about Joe, and like the rumblings were about this player as a kid, and like when you actually did burst on the scene and you did play, you looked like a kid. Like, your kit was big. You had so much ability, but like you were playing in at that time it was full of 6 foot plus fellas.
Yeah. Now, do you know what, Crouchy? I was unusual. The reason people talked to me, I was an unusual player because I was a street footballer, pure street footballer. I was still a child, effectively, but I had this ability that other people didn't have. So it sort of, and Harry was great with me. Harry used to just go, right, just go out and play. Also, I think I didn't really get to grips with the tactical side of the game until I went to Chelsea. Really, Mourinho just sort of he's structural with Mourinho. You can't mess about, so he got me on that one. But yeah, I think I was just a street footballer playing in the Premier League.
Did you find that tough, like going to Chelsea and when Mourinho, obviously he had you off the left, and you had, tracking back and doing something maybe that you've not been used to.
He was just like, you got to do this, you got to do that, and you got to do that. And he just pushed me and pushed me and pushed me. And I think he knew the sort of character I was. I was so desperate to play for Chelsea and do well and play for it. I was eating out the palm of his. He's a brilliant manager because he come in and he said to the lads from day one, by the way, I'm like Jose and this is what I've won. And he had a list of like all the things that the lads won. And apart from Makaleli, we'd won nothing, like really. Like,
he listed all the things that he's won.
No, he sort of like was like, listen up. He just said, look, I'm Jose. Listen, Champions League winner. This is what I do. I win. I know how to win. Like he just, like he spoke with such conviction. He was like, right, I'm on board. And then he went, right, you lot. It was only Makaleli who'd had any kind of career where they'd won something. A couple of lads had won a few trophies here and there, but nobody of significance. He said, if you follow me, you do you buy into this, we'll be champions on this day. Then he put the date and it was like 3 or 4 games for the end of the season. And a part of me was like going, is this guy for real? Like, he's like, but then another part of me was like, because he was so impressive on the training pitch and he just had this aura, you'd just followed him into battle. Like if Jose would have told you the sky was red, that was it. The sky was red.
My perception of him has always been that he comes into a squad and then singles out a couple of people that are going to be sacrificed.
He identified straight away John Terry, Frank Lampard, Didier Drogba, Petr Cech was going to be the spine of his team. So, they're like the core. So he and maybe the senior players like Makaleli treated different. Everyone else, and bearing in mind, he had some top players. So if I weren't playing, Damien Duff would have been in, or Robin would have been in, and then later on Sean Wright-Phillips, and in that sort of wide area. So he knew he could replace us. It was like for like to a certain degree. but he couldn't replace JT. He couldn't replace Frank and Drogba and Petr Cech. So he treated them slightly. It felt like he treated them slightly different, and that was, with hindsight, looking back, it was a brilliant move and then everyone else he could like really crack the whip on it. With Robben was the same. Like Robben went on to be one of the greats of the game, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
But Chelsea, I was just going to say he's pulling his hair out, but he didn't even have much hair back then either. But he was like, I wants me to do this, he wants me to do this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, but that's how we win games. Now we've had things like, and he sounds like, listen, I love him. Like, but it sounds, when I say things he's done, people go, like, and I'm like, what was it like? I remember playing a game, and then you were in the warm down crouching, and you're like, I think I set up a couple of goals. We won just a normal home game. I can't remember where it was. And he's come up to me because I went through on goal, and I had Crespo to the right of me, and I tried to give it the eyes, like just like, give it the eyes and then give it to Crespo, and he tapped it in, but he's not read the eyes. I've eyes him, and he's not there. So like, I look shit. Like basically, I've gone through and I've done that, passed it there. He's not there. It could have been 3-0, but no harm done. We won the game 2-0, and I'm sitting there stretching my calves with the lads, and Gaffer's come over, and I think he's going to be like, wow, well done yesterday. When you see you, boy, you will never play for me again. You done that shit. You'll never play for me again. And then walked off. And I thought, what have I done? What have I done?
That was after a 2-0 win.
I thought, have I run over his cat on the way to work or something? And I just think it was, like when he probably had plans for someone else to play in the next 2 games or something. And then he probably needed to leave me out. And I give him an excuse by not being perfect. So
he would be excellent at breaking up with someone, wouldn't he? He's just so like, I can't deal with breakup. Like,
what are you not confrontational?
Yeah, well, clearly what he thinks is like steps ahead.
Yeah.
So he'll start to plant little things before the breakup.
You said to me, Joe said to me that there was you went in to see him because you hadn't played for 3 games. You told the story better than me, but he knocked on the door. He said he'd come out and he's been dropped for another 2 games, but you felt fantastic because he said, I need you for this particular game.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. And he used to manage it. He had a way, like, I had an argument with him. I went into the room and I said, how am I not playing? And he's playing. Like, I can't remember it was. I was like, no, it's rubbish. I want to leave. He went, all right, you can leave. I went, okay. And I went, and he went, 25 million. I went, what, I'm worth 25 million? He went, yeah. I went, what are you leaving a 25 million player for on the bench? And he went, get out. So like, looking back on it now, it had comedy to it.
Dave, when Joe was under Jose, was there anything that you could pick out from Jose's sort of stats-wise that you can share with us?
I think defensively was a big one. That 2004-5 team has got the best defensive record ever, 15 goals conceded. But I think the big thing there, like structurally as a team, I think one of the big things we saw with both of the wide players, yourself and let's say a Duff or a Robin dropping back.
Yeah.
What was different with Jose to make you get into the right position at that time?
He liked partnerships on the pitch. So I played on the right. Paulo Ferreira played behind me. What he was very big on was you'd pick up left back, right? And if he got a cross in, it was my responsibility, not the right backs. Do you know what I mean? So, and you just knew if you got it wrong. Like there was a game we played Barcelona in the Nou Camp, right? I was playing right midfield, and it was the first time I played against Ronaldinho. So stupidly, the ball's gone into Ronaldinho. He's pinned Paulo Ferreira, and we're all in a nice defensive position. We're all set. I can see Van Bronckhorst. And he's made a run, and I thought, that's a stupid run. He's never going to get that. And Ronaldinho just done something, lollipop, bang, back-heeled it into Van Bronckhorst. And it's one of them moments on the pitch when I was like, oh, shit. Van Bronckhorst whipped in across. Jesus missed it by a Rizzler. But like, that was because it was Ronaldinho, and I took a gamble where I let Van Bronckhorst run. And I thought, right now, for the rest of the 40 or 50 games, there's not going to be a fullback that's going to run past me. Jose was the best at like, just like putting a player down in a brilliant way. Like it was like Ricky Carvalho, obviously great player, great at the game, right? He had a row with Jose about something after the game. he didn't play. And Jose's gone, same thing. You will never play again for me. You will never play. John Terry, number 1. Gallas, number 2. Robert Hoof, 3. Young kid, number 4. And he went, kick man, Mick, I play Mick ahead of you. He's gone like that. I've gone. Mick's his 50-year-old fella, big derby on him like that.
Carvalho.
It's Ricky
No
Carvalho.
way. Not bad, was it? You mentioned it before, Kai. So you were part of the England squad in the year 2000. And bearing in mind, Joe's younger than me. I made my debut in the 99-2000 season for QPR. Joe's playing for England at that time.
Wow.
You must have been involved with like Seaman, Ince, that kind of era.
Yeah.
And how old are you when you walk into that dressing room and what's it
Must
like?
have been, I think my first squad I was in was, I know the game. We can check the dates. Come and stat man.
Come
on
and
it,
stat
right?
man.
Let's go.
The last game at Wembley, Kevin Keegan's last,
Didier Mann scored.
yes.
Germany, that one.
Yeah, I was in the squad. I didn't make the bench. That was my first squad. So I don't know, I'd have been 18.
Plus the old Wembley.
Old Wembley.
The 7th of October 2000.
Here you go.
Wow.
So is
2000,
that
right.
early? Yeah, I would have been 18 there.
Yeah.
Probably 18. Maybe,
Yeah, so I think that's the end of like my first.
Yeah.
So you were at
season playing.
QPR?
Yeah, QPR. And he's playing.
You were
playing for
starting
England.
at England.
I got in the squad. Yeah, first squad.
What's that like? What, you get the call.
mate.
Like, so you're how old are you there? 18.
Yeah, I don't even know if I could drive. I can't even remember. I didn't drive myself, but I can't even. Anyway, I got the call up, and I've turned up. And to be fair, and I'll always remember this. Do you know like the Beckham, Butt, Scholesies, and the Nevilles class? So they were the first people. They were great. They were like, I bumped into them first of all. They was always great, and they was right the way through my England career as a young player. They always looked after us and made sure I was all right and was welcoming. But then got into your room. First training, met Keegan and all that. Just come and enjoy yourself. You're not going to play, but big part of the future plans for us and blah, 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 whatever. Great. Going to training, I got on the coach and I think, where do I sit? And it's nervous, and I just see, I just see this head pop up from the hugest paper, the Financial Times, like that. It's Tony Adams, like, and I'm like, he just give me the little like, come and sit here, mate. Come sit here, and I've.
So big tones on the Financial
Big tones
Times.
on the Financial.
That's like some Corden sketch or something.
I
isn't
know,
it?
I know.
Almost not real, like comic
Getting his
relief.
footsie numbers in,
I
innit?
know, I know, and I'm like, I think, all right, let me go and sit next to Tony, and we're just chatting away, and this paper's so big, I've just got no room to sit on this thing, and I'm like that, and it was the famous game where Keegan retired.
Right.
So I wasn't, so we were sitting at Wembley watching the game, and then I got beat, come down, and I'm standing outside the dressing room, and Keegan's walked past, and he's like, I'm not up to this, I'm resigning. And the poor little PR person for England was like, you can't do that. And I'm like, I'm standing there going, what is going on here? I've only turned up. I'm going, what's going on?
As if that was going to change his mind.
And he's just gone to the Sky. He's gone to the Sky Sports cameras. Come here, mate. I don't know. Probably Nick Collins has come over. Like, all right. He said, "Yeah, I've had enough. I'm done." And I'm just going, "What's fucking going on here?" So anyway, yeah, that was my first experience of England.
What an experience that was.
Big thing this series on the pod, Joe, is about draft excluders, which are sort of new to the game, really. I don't think when you were a 16-year-old or 18-year-old starting out in England, you were practicing being a draft excluder.
No.
And to be honest with you, I don't think you'd potentially make a very good one. I know you're above average height, as you're keen to point out. But
Yeah,
you're not that
we've
far
clarified
off.
that already.
In England and in
Do you need a
Scotland.
long draft
And in
excluder?
Scotland. I think I'd be a good draft.
Oh, you'd be unreal, wouldn't you?
But we've taken it up another level with the draft excluders this series. When we were chatting to Aaron Ramsdale, we discussed going full frontal.
Dave, there was a player who went full frontal the other day. I saw it.
We've had 2 instances so far in the Premier League. Diogo Jota against Newcastle.
Full frontal.
Full
Real
frontal.
man.
And Dan James for Leeds against Arsenal.
Do you know what? Though? My job a lot was the charger. That's the worst job in
that is a
football.
bad
You
job.
would never have got that job.
No,
would you?
no,
Like,
no,
that
no. I
is-
didn't
Is that
have
just
the
because
pace.
you were rapid?
No, that was just because I was not very good. I wasn't at anything
Not
else. I'm
big.
not going to beat anyone in the air.
So you couldn't mark.
I
and it
can't. I
couldn't
wasn't
go in the
big
wall.
for the wall. I wasn't tall enough as
Yeah.
we've just for the wall. If it clips to the far post, I'm no good to no one there. But I can take one in the mush as good as anyone. So
No, there's nothing worse. Like actually charging. It's like if you watch someone who doesn't actually really want to charge, like they wait, the whistle goes, and then they bend their run a little bit, like, just to make it later.
let me tell you, right? I've had
seen some good charges in my time.
I've had some. I've broken leg, ankle, toe, wrist. I've done my medials. Right. The most pain I've experienced on a football pitch is charging and taking one in the nuts. I had a tear in my eye. It was like
straight in.
It was horrible. Worst.
We're on Series 6 now, I think this is, right? I don't think we've discussed the art of charging.
I was an experienced charger, right? So let me tell you.
I was an experienced charger.
It's the worst job. When you get the jobs on set pieces at pre-season, you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. I'm going to cop a few this year, right? So listen, this is what you got to do. First of all, you got to be a bit cheeky because you got to nick a yard, right? And you got to be brave and a little bit
mental
as well. Like I'm not mental, but I'm brave enough to get it. But you got to be cheeky, right? You're right. There's a few that play at it. They do the bend the run. They go, oh, look at me, I'm brave, and then all of a sudden, then they're on the outside. So yeah, but I did it, and it's bloody painful.
No one's ever made a montage on YouTube of fantastic charges.
Ooh, I like that.
It's all about goals and beautiful saves.
Yeah.
Like, let's have a charging montage, and there's people that can do that out there.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
Send in your clips, people. Sunday League.
If you can get it slow-mo as well, you're right. It never makes a montage.
No one gets any credit for it. It's like just a part of the game that doesn't get any recognition, like the first manning.
Yeah.
Like, everyone goes, what we said, if you're first man at a corner, right? Everyone goes, can't even beat the first man.
Yeah.
But no one goes, great first man.
You're right. Do you know who was the best? The best first man I've ever. Didier Drogba.
Yeah, he was good.
Oh, unbelievable first man. Forget his goals, cup finals and all that. First man,
It's
everyone.
changed his Wikipedia. I noticed that happened after J-Mo's thing.
It's been changed.
We mentioned about changing his Wikipedia to also have that he was a striker and a model rather than just goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I'm saying the podcast was up half an hour and it was changed.
Was it?
was that quick.
Honestly, like
Nothing better, Crouchy, honestly.
This is what I mean. You're being quite serious.
huge. I'm being genuinely serious. If you've got a good first man, right, Drogba, for instance, right. So if I'm picking up Chris Stark, it's on the board, right. If I come in and Chris Stark scored, Mourinho's going to tear into me, right. So I'll go, I've lost him. Shit. First man gets it away. Everyone breathes a keeper. Everyone breathes a thank God the first man's there.
Yeah. What we need as well, where they do the stuff at the start of the season, they step out in front of the camera, they go, Didier Drogba, striker. Yeah. We need one to step out and just be like, pick one.
Kovacic, charger.
All right, let's get on to a few of your messages. We've been a bit slack on the messages in the last couple of pods, Crouchy. Joe, you got one there?
Right. If you had to spend the weekend with 4 managers you played under, who would you choose? Good question.
Oh, it is a good question. That's from Jordan. Nice one, Jordan.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Sven here. I'm thinking...
Well, we know where Sven would be.
I'd have Sven number 1 pick, I think, if I was
I think we open this up and say you can decide between you both. 4 managers that you've both played under.
So me and Joe are going on holiday.
You two
and
are
we're
going.
taking 4 managers between us.
The Wilds, yeah.
So 6 of us going away. Right. Where are we going, Chris?
Malia.
Let's go to Malia.
We're going to Malia.
Brilliant. I think if this is answered right, then there'll be a group of guys who go on a holiday to Malia, but they should be dressed up as the people you come up with here. Right. So it'd be Crouchy, Cole, Sven. We need 3 others.
Oh, it's a great question. The mind boggles. The mind boggles.
You bring Harry.
Yeah, you bring Harry.
You 100%.
Do you know why you bring Harry? You've just woken up about 11, right? And he'll be already down by the pool, racing post, and just make sometimes in them holidays you get them dark moments, don't you? You start, what did I do last night? And he's just there to put his arm on your shoulder.
He's gone and got a couple of the sunbeds either side.
Yeah,
sit down.
And Harry is the best storyteller of it. Like he's a blinder.
Great round at dinner table in the evenings.
Oh, he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant.
So he's in the holiday. He's got the shirt. Harry on the back.
He seems like the dad of the group. We've got the brother, maybe Sven, the older brother in Sven, guiding the lads. Yeah. We've got the dad.
We've got the young lads here.
Yeah, we need to maybe build that out, a family. I think we need a mother figure.
Right?
Yeah, that maybe could help the lads out when they're, when they've been out on, until 3 a.m.
Do you mean a bit of a Mr. Sensible?
Yeah, maybe a Mr. Sensible, someone that would sort the kebabs out at the end of the night.
Have a water.
Yeah, have a water.
Oh, okay.
Carlo Ancelotti. Oh.
Well, let's get into this. What was Carlo Ancelotti like?
Just a gentleman, and he every player who's played for him loved him. I don't know anyone who don't. And first night out we had as a team, we had a team meal, and he joined in, and we went to an Italian restaurant in London. And I was late. There was only one seat next to the gaffer, and you're walking in. I'm like, oh no, what's like next to the gaffer for 2 hours, and I'm late, and you don't really know. He just sat me down, and he's like, hello, how are you, Grappa? So the lads all got the Diet Cokes and all that, and he pours me out a shot of Grappa, and we ain't even had the minestrone soup yet. So I'm like, this is a test. He's seeing if I'm a bit of a lad. Maybe he's heard something. Like, am I going to take the drink off him? I thought, fuck it, I'll take it anyway. So I've done the shot. All right, gaffer, a little boom, like that. And I'm waiting for him to chastise me, and then he just poured me another one. And we're just there, just banging this Grappa back at this meal.
But only you and him.
Only me and him.
Else.
No one else. And he's just telling me stories about Milan and that. And I'm just, as I'm getting a bit looser, I'm asking, what's he like? What's he like? So he's the best company.
Trying to figure and yours. Who'd you have at Chelsea?
Oh, I've had loads, didn't I?
Chelsea.
Big Phil.
Big Phil Scolari.
Big Phil. Yeah, he's a good guy, but he's bringing the same energy as Carlo. I want to mix it up a little bit.
Avram Grant.
Oh, it's too heavy. Honestly,
Too
Avram's party. Too much. He'd be one of them you'd be having to make sure he's all right, get him a water to get up.
So you go out at
Avram loves it. Avram
7
loves it.
7 o'clock in the in the evening.
Avram started early, innit? Everyone have a good night. What about Avram? Have you seen him this morning?
Avram's up let me tell you. So I'm in Dubai. Last year, I might add, I'm in a nightclub. And I don't go to nightclubs very often, especially now. But I'm in there with my pal. It's about 2 a.m. And my pal's gone to me. He's tapped me on the shoulder. He said, one of your managers is over there, 2:30 in the morning in the Dubai nightclub. And he said to me, if you guess who it was, I'll buy all the drinks. I'll get the bill. Right? And I've just gone, he's got 3 chances. And I went, I don't know, I thought it could be Jose. I don't know. It was a nice gaff. I didn't get it. It was Avram. Turned around. That's why we can't take him. We don't know where he'll end up.
It will escalate.
It'll
It'll be
escalate.
like the hangover.
It'll escalate quickly. It will escalate.
We need one more on the plane.
Right, on the plane.
I kind of think Avram should be there.
Yeah,
He's
it's
got a
a
wild
yeah.
card
Yeah.
element.
Wild
The
card.
thing is, everyone's going to have a good time. You've got loads of stories.
Yeah.
You come back and go, everyone will go talk
Yeah.
about what
Yeah.
Avram was up to.
Yeah, and
Get to a police station, but you could apologise and you know it would be fine.
I like Avram. He's a really good man, and he done a great job at Chelsea. And to be fair, most places his record's unbelievable, So it's going to be carnage.
So look, if you are listening to this, right, a lot of people
Great
listen
question.
to this, and you're going on holiday. Yeah, thanks Jordan for the question.
Yeah.
And you're going on a lad's holiday, right? We need 6 of you in shirts on the back. We want to see Redknapp. I suppose I'd like to see Sven on the back rather than Ericsson, but
Yeah.
you know where I'm getting at. Ancelotti, Grant, Crouch, and Cole. That's the photo we need.
is that possible?
That will happen.
That
will happen.
And,
I love this programme.
Honestly, I don't think
You're
there's any time where this hasn't happened.
It will happen.
Will
Yeah.
happen, yeah.
Ideally, if you can design something funny on the front of the shirts as well.
Yeah.
And then we can, of course, bang that up on the socials.
And whoever has the Avram one, that has to be the carnage of the group. Because the story will get even better.
Yeah. Who's your Avram Grant?
Who's the Avram of the group? Everyone's got one.
a little picture for the side.
Right, well, that's the end of pod. Joe, thanks so much for doing this, mate. I really appreciate it.
Loved it. Loved it.
I hope you enjoyed it. We've loved having you on. Top man.
I've enjoyed it. I just can't believe that we're going to get this group of lads in them kits. I'm buzzing off that. I'm buzzing off that, you know that.
Yeah, just work out who your Avram is and obviously look after him a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like they're going to have a wild time.
Yeah.
We're having a wild time anyway, but
drink
like,
responsibly.
All because of Joe Cole.